Thank you for joining our webinar. Actually, this is our first webinar in Qatar. We are planning to do more webinars in the following months. So this is the beginning of this is the first of the many webinars we are planning to do in Qatar. So we are going to do the webinar with Mr. Taylan together. He's the pre-sales manager in GlassHouse. And I am the territory manager in GlassHouse in Doha, in Qatar. Today we have an agenda of 4 main items. One of them is I'm going to talk about GlassHouse. We have a couple of slides about GlassHouse. Secondly, I'm going to talk about monitoring as a service in general. The third one, we will come into more details with the monitoring as a service. That's going to be part of Mr. Taylan. And the last part, I'm going to give you a summary, and I will also tell you about the costs. Actually, we have sent the invitations like 10:30, 11:30, but it's going to be a presentation like half an hour, 30, 35 minutes. So I'm expecting to finish it around 11, past 5 past 11, 10 past 11. So it's going to be around 30, 40 minutes of presentation. So let's start with GlassHouse. Our headquarters are in Turkey. We are also operating in South Africa, and we have just opened our Qatar branch. We say we opened it at the end of 2021, but it took a couple of months for the trade license commercial registrations. So we can say at the end of 2021 or the beginning of 2022. We are also planning to open another branch in Europe. We are thinking of Germany. Maybe this year, maybe next year, we will see. So who is GlassHouse? We are an IT infrastructure service provider. We are around 110 people, 80 plus engineers and 20 plus account managers. What we are doing, we are mainly focusing on largest enterprises in the region. When I say region, it means Turkey and Africa. And now, as I said, we came to the Gulf region, targeting the whole region from Doha. So we work with the largest enterprises. So most of our companies, most of our customers are in finance, telecom, holding, and public sector. We have services in 4 areas. One of them is business continuity and data backup. We will mainly work with Dell in this part. Second is SAP infrastructure. The third one is managed cloud services. The fourth one is the next generation managed security services. We have strong financials. GlassHouse is a private equity investment. And we have 4 strategic vendors. For on-prem solutions, we work with Dell EMC. We only work with Dell EMC. So we have a special agreement with Dell. We are Dell Tier 1 Titanium partner and cloud service provider. We are one of the biggest service providers of Dell in the region and in the world. Now we are in Doha, in Qatar. We are also a SAP service partner with the highest level. We give SAP infrastructure basis support to the companies. Thirdly, we work with Rancher in the container part. You know, there is a big movement to the container all over the world, and we are on the side of Rancher in this competition. And the last one, we work with Microsoft Azure. We support many customers on Azure, so we have Microsoft Azure expertise as well. So when we look at the portfolio, as I said, we are in 4 major areas. One of them is on-prem solutions. We only work with Dell. We are one of the biggest Dell storage sellers in the world. We do projects PowerEdge, VxRail, Hyperconverged, Isolon, Unity, PowerStore, and VMware solutions. We are also one of the biggest backup provider of Dell in the world. And we work with Dell backup portfolio like Data Domain, Networker, Avamar. We do cyber recovery projects. And we do these ones with consumption models. I mean, you don't need to buy. We give it as a service to you. The second one are managed cloud solutions. We have lots of managed cloud services, infrastructure as a service, backup as a service, DR as a service, monitoring as a service. As you will see, we are going to talk about monitoring as a service today. that part. We have HANA as a service, container and managed multi-cloud services as well, these solutions. Today, we will focus on monitoring as a service. In the following months, we will have additional webinars. We have managed security services. GlassHouse has its own cloud, GlassHouse Cloud. So we give the managed security services either on GlassHouse Cloud or on-prem. Some of the services are dedicated to our own cloud. Some of the services are given to the on-prem customers, like CM as a service, vulnerability management as a service. As a customer, we can give these services. You don't need to buy a product or anything. We give it just as a service. You pay monthly. If you are satisfied, you continue with the service. If you are not satisfied, you don't continue. That's simple. And I think it's something good for you. You don't need to do high investments for any of these products because, you know, security products are very expensive. And the fourth one is we talk the SAP projects. We are not in the functional part of SAP. We are the infrastructure side of SAP. So we do lots of SAP projects, installing the SAP environment, maintaining, upgrading it, and doing migrations, these kind of things. So today we are going to talk about the monitoring service. I'm going to give up a beginning, and then, as I said, Taylan will continue with more technical parts. So, okay, we are here for the monitoring as a service here. What is GlassHouse 724 monitoring as a service? Actually, it's an easy to use, secure, real-time service that functions as a second set of eyes into the health and status of your company's infrastructure and applications. As it says, it's a second set of eyes. You just have your own infrastructure and applications. We monitor it for you. That's what we do. It's that simple service. So what happens? We have availability alarm notification. If something is not functioning or malfunctioning, if there is a problem or any kind of thing, something like that, we notify you with phone or email. This service is that simple. Let's say if your server, one of your web service is down, we call you. Hey, Ammar, your web service is down. Or if, let's say, you have an SAP application, and in your application, the CPU is working like 100% for the last 25 minutes, we call, hey, Omar, your CPU, SAP services, your server is working like 25 minutes with 100% resource consumption. They take care of it. We just simply notify you about your environment. So why to monitor? Is simply to have an uninterrupted service. I mean, if you have any downtime in your IT infrastructure or applications, it will negatively impact your customer experience. And your customer can be your upper management, your end user, your colleagues. It can be anyone. What we do is we constantly scan your IT infrastructure and allow you to know something beforehand. So we help you keep your systems run and up all the time. That's what we do with the monitor. So who needs this service? If you want to give an uninterrupted IT service to your stakeholders, and when I say stakeholders, it means, as I said, the upper management, your colleagues, the end user, it can be anything. So you will know the forthcoming problems beforehand or immediately be informed. Normally what happens is, for example, we are working with many companies. They say the IT is they don't know there's a problem, and one of the customer calls, this is not working. Another one calls, so the IT learns something is not functioning from their customer. This is something very bad. Or the IT learns it from the upper management. The general calls. Simply, we have created one of the most robust monitoring engines of the industry. We call it MaaS Engine. It supports a wide range of popular technologies. I mean, we can monitor everything: cloud, application servers, databases, big data, whatever you need, we monitor it for you.
I want to say hi to all my colleagues. I think Hakan has a small connection problem, and I will try to continue to this presentation. Now, let me get detailed in the technical part of the presentation. My name is Taylan Korkmaz. I'm a pre-sales manager of GlassHouse, and as I said, I want to give some technical information about monitoring as a service. Today, there is no doubt that IT administrators are managing the complex IT infrastructure, and it's getting more complicated every day. Enterprises, companies, even small businesses rely on modern IT technologies to keep their work up and running. On the one hand, increasing workloads, performance pressure, increasing service complexity. On the other hand, competing resources that do not grow at the same pace. It is very difficult for all of us to cope with this burden. Companies have to make sure that their IT services are not disrupted by monitoring what is happening in their system infrastructure. But how? Of course, it is possible to do this task by purchasing appropriate monitoring software, installing and operating that software, and building teams to monitor the logs processed by that software. However, using this kind of software will create new challenges for companies. I mean, the initial annual cost of this kind of software is one thing, and building a 24/7 basis operating team is another thing. It may require 4 or 5 dedicated headcount for this type of service. As GlassHouse, we would like to propose our added value here. As my colleague Hakan pointed out, GlassHouse is offering managed services on its own cloud or public cloud or customer premises. From this perspective, we want to help our customers as part of their team. GlassHouse Monitoring as a service is a service operated by GlassHouse Monitoring team with the certain type of rules determined by our customers. We understand the business challenge first, then specify the general objective and define the key performance indicators of process defined by general objective. Now, let's take a closer look at the steps of GlassHouse's monitoring as a service. In first step, we clarify what should be monitored and how it is measured. These are specific and unique key performance indicators that belong in the customer environment. I remember a real example. One of our customers who has a production line in their factory needed to monitor a specific SAP task to ensure that the production line had no interruptions. Our engineers set the proper metric for that task, and it has started to be monitored. It is obvious that the analyzing and planning phase is very valuable, and it is impossible to do it without customers' contribution. However, when we first understand which business processes are critical, we have the same concern as our customers. Making decisions together is not only very helpful to specify the metrics, but it is also required for the better implementing the rest of the project. In the second step, we are diving into the technical part. This part starts with the installation of the customer probe server. This server is used as agent in the customer's environment, which is collecting data from monitored destinations. The probe server should have a network connection with the GlassHouse's administration server. Job lists are determined and created. Job lists may include things like operating definitions, database definitions, backup definitions, SAP server definitions, and SAP CCMS definitions, and so on. depending on the scope of monitoring, operating systems users, database users, and SAP users are set. Thresholds are created on the GlassHouse admin server. Then we move forward to accuracy check. In this stage, definitions that are set in the previous stage are tested to determine if they are running correctly. After ensuring that, the dashboard creation is done. The dashboard is unique to every single customer. Okay, all settings are done. Probe systems are running. Now we are ready to specify the action that should be taken by the monitoring team. If the conditions are met and the monitoring system has alarms, then the monitoring team can do something about that. They can call somebody from customer's team to make them alert. They can open a ticket in behalf of customer to specified vendor or provider. If there is a GlassHouse managed service, like operating system managing or database managing or security managing, the monitoring team will hand over the ticket to the related team in GlassHouse. All rules should be set before the beginning of the operation. Monitoring rules may need to change with the evolving of the business requirements. Monitoring can be considered as a living process. It should be adapted to changing conditions. Now you can see a sample from a customer which has SAP workloads, adding, deleting, or modifying some KPIs with the changing business requirements mutually decided. GlassHouse Monitoring as a service has a user-friendly interface which provides many options for customers. They can access monitoring dashboard using PC, Mac, tablet, even smartphones. Using customized dashboard, our customers have comfort to access their monitoring environment from any device. Let's look at the details of application server environment. Now we have basic concepts here. GlassHouse offers two different services related to monitoring as a service. The first one is an infrastructure monitoring as a service, and the second one is an application monitoring as a service. What is the difference of application performance monitoring than infrastructure monitoring? With the infrastructure monitoring, we will have basic KPIs like CPU usage, memory, disk, network utilization, disk I/O performance, etc. Those KPIs generally give a clue about systems performance and shows us how the situation is changing. On the other hand, application performance monitoring is more than just monitoring metrics on a dashboard. Simply put, monitoring application performance is about ensuring that your business applications are performing as always expected, with proper tracking and reporting of performance issues. The final goal of an application performance monitoring software for any business is to ensure that the supply of services to end users is uninterrupted and the quality of what is delivered is supreme. Over the next few slides, I will try to provide more information on what types of applications can be monitored. As the usage of the cloud technologies becomes industry standard, the modern monitoring application must provide end-to-end monitoring of virtualized environments. GlassHouse Monitoring as a Service supports the monitoring of VMware, Citrix, Microsoft Hyper-V, and also public cloud environments like Amazon AWS, Windows Azure, OpenStack. it is possible to gain visibility into containers such as Docker and microservices. GlassHouse Monitoring as a service can also help developers and IT operation teams to find out the reason of the application issues. Enterprise Management Associate research states that manual troubleshooting is a single biggest bottleneck that DevOps teams face in their continuous delivery pipeline, and that application performance monitoring solutions can substantially mitigate the challenges generated by high rates of production change. For example, a request made to a web application is taking unusually long to respond. This could be due to slow running queries trying to retrieve the relevant information from the database. But of course, without an application performance monitoring tool, such problems are hard to identify. There are numerous possibilities of errors like these causing problems in web application performance monitoring, while tracking background as well as front-end transactions such as JVM becoming completely saturated, transactions consuming time, etc. With the right application performance monitor tool, these transactions details are made available and error-causing codes can directly be pinpointed, and delays in problem identification and resolution can be massively reduced. Our monitoring engine will help you to resolve problems faster and ensure optimal performance of your complex middleware technologies. Applications Manager's middleware portal monitoring feature monitors the health and availability of various middleware components and enterprise messaging systems. It enables IT operations teams to troubleshoot issues quickly and eliminate performance bottlenecks. With the help of comprehensive performance metrics and powerful reports, middleware administrators can ensure their complex and critical middleware components are performing at optimum levels. I would say IBM MQ, Microsoft SharePoint, Oracle WebLogic, Integration Server, and Microsoft Message Queue, VMware vFabric RabbitMQ as examples of such middlewares. Organizations today rely on intuitive database monitoring for optimal performance of their business-critical applications. While most database monitoring tools generate notifications in case of performance issues, an ideal database monitoring tool will not only alert you, but will also provide comprehensive insight into the root cause of the issues and help you troubleshoot them quickly. Monitoring database attributes and visualizing them on a custom dashboard would be critical for your business operations. With this kind of dashboard, database administrators can be aware of CPU utilization, memory utilization, connection statistics, buffer cache details, query performance, resource pools, user sessions, deadlock details, system and users errors. The database performance monitor can pinpoint slow SQL statements hindering optimal application performance and allow users to analyze error traces and resolve database performance issues before they impact your business. Monitoring as a service of GlassHouse has support for JDBC database like Oracle, Microsoft SQL, MySQL, IBM Informix, IBM DB2, Sybase, PostgreSQL, and non-SQL technologies like MongoDB, Cassandra, Couchbase, Apache HBase, and Oracle NeoSQL. Digital footprint of companies has started with their websites. It is still very important that having good looking and uninterrupted websites. Some workloads has moved to online and e-commerce became dominant for retail sectors. With these conditions, in order to make sure your websites and web servers are always available, web server monitoring is crucial. Implementing and maintaining an effective web server monitor helps the network administrator prevent problems by revealing patterns of resource usage and performance that might otherwise go undetected. With proper web server monitoring tools, you can identify problems and potential performance problems as effectively as possible, even before end users are affected. GlassHouse Application Monitoring Service has native support for well-known application server softwares like Oracle WebLogic, IBM WebSphere, JBoss, Tomcat, Microsoft.NET, Oracle Application Server, Glassfish, Silverstream, Wildfly, Jetty, and Resin. Our customers can rely on their application servers would be monitored proactively. They will have 360 degrees visibility on their applications, and they will have the chance to troubleshoot issues before end users' affection occurred. When GlassHouse were designing its monitoring as a service infrastructure, monitoring of the end user experience was also considered. To have same experience with end user, we simulate business-critical multi-page workflows via Selenium-based scripting of tests. Selenium is a suite of tools for automating web browsers. We also record business-critical transactions using an easy-to-use recorder tool without scripting. The output can be downloaded from within the application monitoring tool. Monitoring tool also playbacks recorded transactions at regular time intervals on a real browser, such as Mozilla Firefox, from multiple geographical locations. The response times for all HTML elements can be viewed for destination web pages in detailed waterfall charts. It can give a clue about components that slow down the destination web page. Yes, so we have come to the end of the technical part. Before I will handing the presentation back to Hakan, I just want to show little very quick video for the about our monitoring system. Let me share with you. Now, this is a monitoring infrastructure environment of our monitoring team. This is a console, and there is a service, GlassHouse Test Demo, called GlassHouse Test Demo S/4HANA Web Service. This is previously defined service, and in the video, our team member are manually stopping the service. First of all, he confirmed the server is reached. Then he are stopping it manually. As you said, he stopped. And when he refreshed the page, now it is not working. Then we will see the effect in the console. As you see, there is an alert in red, resource is down. And now, and as when he look at his inbox, there is a mail is telling the status of the resource is down. Now he will start the service again. Then go to the web browser, check the status. And when he refreshes console, is going green again. And he will have another email to show the issue was resolved. I want to thank you, all my colleagues. Thank you for listening to me. I think Hakan is here and I'm giving back his presentation.
Thank you, Taylan. I'm sorry for the interruption. I'm in gate mall. The internet of the gate mall is gone suddenly, so I was dropped. Anyway, I just finished my first part. Let's continue with the second part. So I'm going to summarize the monitoring, and we will have a slide for the pricing. So what are the challenges for monitoring? First, you need to know what to monitor in your environment. I mean, you have, as you have seen, Taylan, we can monitor nearly everything. We can monitor your web servers, we can monitor your application servers, we can monitor your Oracle Business Suite, we can monitor your SAP, we can monitor your Exchange, DNS, we can monitor your network, switch, routers, virtual environment, cloud environment, whatever you need to monitor, we can monitor it for you. So what we put inside, I mean, we put our expertise to decide what to monitor. For example, if you want, let's give an example. Let's say you want to monitor your Oracle Suite or SAP. What you will do in SAP, you have Solman, hundreds, thousands of alerts are coming. You don't need to follow all of them. As an expert of these applications, we say you need to follow 55 indicators to follow the health of a typical SAP environment. You don't need to follow any other. So we tell you, or we work with you to decide what to monitor. And we install it. Our experts install the agents, and we start the correct KPIs. We start to install the correct KPIs, and we start to monitor it together with you, 7/24. And it's a working environment. It's not a one-time job. We install and it's done. No, we install it. We start to monitor with you. In some intervals, we come together with you and we update it. We add new items to follow, new agents to install, new services to follow up. So it's an evolving business. It's not a one-time installation and monitor all the time. So here we are your partner. It's a service, we do it together. So when we say why GlassHouse, first of all, we are expert in most of these IT infrastructure and applications. Why we are experts? Simply we have our own cloud, GlassHouse Cloud. We have a cloud environment where hundreds of customers are already working on it. So we are expert in most of the applications, most of the infrastructure. Secondly, we have our own proactive operations center. 7/24, we are already monitoring hundreds of customers in GlassHouse Cloud and on-prem. So we already have the proactive operations center. We will just add your account to be part of it. Thirdly, we are the expert in managed services. We have been giving managed service for many, many years. So we are good at giving services. GlassHouse is a service company. What we do good is when we start working with a company, we work with them many, many years. So we are good at giving these services. We have the industry leading team because we are support most of the largest banks, telecom companies, public enterprise companies in the region. And finally, as I said, we have the cloud experience. If your workloads are, let's say, working in Azure, we can definitely monitor it for you. We already have certified Azure, Amazon cloud experts, so we can follow it. So what are services compromised of. First of all, we do a site-to-site VPN connection to your site. And then we install the monitoring software, we set up it, we identify what to monitor together, and we monitor it. What is out of scope? Your internet connection speed is out of scope because we have to connect to internet. We come to your site with VPN. And secondly, escalation support, we tell you that there's something wrong, but we don't fix it. It's another engagement. If you say, I mean, this is just a pure monitoring service. We say there's something wrong with your Exchange server. The server has been working 100% CPU utilization for the last 25 minutes. We tell you one of your service in your business, Oracle Business Suite is dropped. It's not working. We tell it to you, but we don't restart the service. We can, but it's another engagement. That's what I said. So it's a very simple, straightforward service, what we do with GlassHouse. So this is our final slide, the last slide, and I will tell you about the cost. So what we are proposing is you do not need to search, evaluate a lot of monitoring softwares, vendors, partners, and decide which softwares to buy for different monitoring needs. It's also an expertise. We have to meet with companies, we meet with partners, meet with vendors, meet with these people and talk about their products, what they are supporting. You have to evaluate them. Enormous time. You don't need to find the right product for your environment. We already know it. Secondly, you do not need to invest huge capex budget. What happens is sometimes the companies purchase these companies, they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, they buy it, and they don't use it effectively. Here you don't have that much risk. We give you the service. If you are satisfied with it, you continue with it. If you are not satisfied, you don't continue with it. So you don't have a lot of risk. If you think the service is delivering what you expected, you continue with it. It's that simple. Thirdly, you do not need to decide what to monitor and do the deployments yourself. We decide together and we do the deployments. Fourthly, most of the time you purchase the software, let's say for some amount of money, let's say $100,000. And then 2-3 years later, you have to do the maintenance. Most of the time, the maintenance costs are as similar as the buying. So why am I buying this software if I'm going to pay the same money for the maintenance? In this case, it's a pure service. You don't need to buy the software. You don't need to invest anything. You just pay a monthly cost, monthly payment for this service. The fifth one, I think this is the most expensive, most important one. For a real monitoring service, you list at least 5 people. Let's say for every 8 hours, you have 1 guy. In a day, there are 24 hours. So you need at least 3 guys. But these guys are going to be sick. These guys are going to be on annual leave. They will leave the company. So you list at least 5 people to monitor your environment. You don't need to invest a 5 people monitoring team. We already invested it. So it's like an electricity usage. You don't need to build the generator or you need the construction. You just use the electricity. That's what we do. Use the monitoring service. That's what you need. You don't need the software. You don't need the team. You don't need nothing. Just use the service. And if you are satisfied, go on with that. And as I said, we do it for you. And the last item in this slide and in this presentation is how much are you going to pay for it? It is, we have pricing packets and the packages are for key performance indicators. Let's say we follow 50 items for you and it's $1,250 per month. So let's say you pay like $15 for 12 months, 365 days period, and we monitor your environment for these critical 50 assets. And you know, you have invested a lot of money to your hardware, to servers, to storage, to people, to maintenance, lots of things, but you don't monitor it. Pay $1,000 and monitor it every month. So this is a simple, to the point service. And as everything is going to the managed services, as everything is moving to the cloud, this is also something you don't need to invest one time. This is something you can take as a service and take it as a service. And as I said, if you spend $500,000 for your infrastructure and applications, pay $15 to monitor it and to make it healthy. That's what we propose here. So actually, this is the end of our presentation. I hope you liked it. In case you have any questions, you can write on the questions part in the webinar. Yeah, I mean, there is a question about the service. You do not need to do a commitment for the service. I mean, we have different packages. You can start for some months. If you are satisfied with the service, you continue with it. We are not using only one software product. We are in our MaaS engine. It's a combination of different products. We have a lot of products in our. We use many different products. It's a combination of many products because you can monitor SAP with one product good, while you can monitor the network with another product. You can monitor Windows systems with another product. So you do not need to buy 5 or 6 different products for your environment. We have the products. We have combined it in a MaaS engine. So it's not your responsibility. You just have the service and we give you the service with what is the right monitoring software. We will use it ourselves. And we will pay for the agents. You don't need to do the investment. There's another question. We don't have our own appliance. I mean, we have our MaaS engine, but the MaaS engine monitoring as a service engine, the main part of MaaS engine is it's working in harmony with the best monitoring softwares in the market. It's working with many different monitoring software. So it's a developed application for you, and in your telephones, in your smartphones, in your computer, you can simply install the application of MaaS engine and you can monitor your environment with us. Another question. It can be installed on-prem and it can be installed on cloud. What we simply do is we just simply put the agent, the proxy in your environment, and the only thing you need is an internet connection. With the internet connection, we have all the alerts, everything. So we come together with you, we install the proxy on your environment, and you tell us, for example, if the Exchange server service is down, call me, I will call you. If there is some kind of security threat, I mean, we are, for example, following something, 3 in the morning, call me. Okay. If there is disks are becoming full, let's say, give a simple example, 95% of our SQL server disk is full, just send me an email to see in the morning. Okay, I sent you an email 4 in the morning. Your SQL server's disk will be going to be full in the next 12 hours. I email to you. So we define all the actions together with you. It's a simple proxy agent installation on your side. It's either on-prem or on cloud, doesn't matter for us. Okay, another question. This is how it is compared to Nexting. Actually, it's a very straightforward, service. We are, you are working with the real human people. All the monitoring people are human, so you can talk them. There's a people. We have meetings with you. We have regular meetings maybe every 3 months to decide if you want to add additional items or if it is enough or not. Most of the time, this service is an evolving service because, for example, some things happen and we realize we are not following it. We come together with you and we add thresholds and key performance indicators for that one as well together. So it's an evolving service with people. Yeah, that's all I can say about that one. Okay. Here is my email address and GlassHouse email address. We have our own web page as well. You can email me, you can email us. Our office is in Gate Mall, West Bay. As you know, Qatar is not a very big city, a very big country. If you have any questions, I can come and visit you. We can drink a cup of coffee, tea, and we can talk more details. Thank you for joining today's session. We will have more webinars about other SAP as a service, disaster recovery as a service, backup as a service in the following weeks, following months. We will keep you updated. With Dell, we will do webinars with Dell Technologies. Yeah, see you on the following webinars. Thank you.